Okay, so it's double game week. Should I use my triple captain? Yeah, I think so. The time is now. Okay, who should I use it on? Mane. He's doing well, smashing in the goals, on form. What could go wrong with that? Hey guys, this is Jack from It's Only FPL. Thank you for joining me. On the show today, we're going to be looking at the best players to pick for Game Week 25, the best captain options as well, and we've got a couple of guests on the show today, Tim and Tommy, that we're going to be going through their teams with me at the end, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click subscribe for all the latest weekly FPL content. Let's go! Hey guys, it's that time again, ready to take you through Game Week 25, which players to pick, which captains, obviously the options as well, a couple of guests on the show as well, FPL fans like myself. We're going to go through the teams together at the end, so stay tuned for that right at the end. And okay, so we're moving forward. First things first, the fixtures for Game Week 25. Obviously, it's been a little bit broken, hasn't it, with Liverpool, West Ham still to be played. So obviously, we're moving ahead and making plans anyway, but there's still one fixture to be played. Here are the fixtures starting at the weekend, so on the 1st of Feb. Obviously, there's a fair few standout ones. The things that actually stood out to me this time was there was a fair bit of potential for potential clean sheets there. So I'm thinking Crystal Palace, Sheffield United. I'm thinking Newcastle, Norwich, maybe Watford, Everton, West Ham, Brighton as well. Potential low scoring, even one or both getting a clean sheet. Leicester, Chelsea, first game. I think hard to call. I think we know Vardy's back for that game now, so a lot of people get him in the team. And then I'm going to go into the evening game actually. Wolves, Man United. I think a lot of people are obviously thinking about Jimenez, Traore. Man United on poor form at the moment, so that's another one to watch. I think there could be goals for the away side in that one. Who knows? But that's what I'm thinking. And then obviously we've got a couple of games on the Sunday. Burnley, Arsenal, Spurs, Man City. Man City, Spurs, I think there's obviously some potential. I think a lot of people have Aguero still. A lot of people Kevin De Bruyne. So there's still some big points on offer there. I think they do fairly well against Spurs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll see. But yeah, deadline 1st of February, 11:30 a.m. So don't forget if you haven't done your team yet. Okay, right, so players to watch. These are the players that I've pinpointed. I believe these three goalkeepers. I don't actually have one of them in my team, but I think if you pick in your team from scratch this weekend, this is who you'd go with, one of the three. Dean Henderson, absolutely on point at the moment. I think one of the advantages, if you're looking at him, would be the next three fixtures. I can see some clean sheets for Sheffield United there. So a very strong pick if you're thinking about him. He's also obviously the top scoring goalkeeper at the moment, so a bit of a no-brainer really. And getting 11 points out of Man City match, and they still conceded. Obviously, he saved the penalty. It's pretty phenomenal. Nick Pope, on form, a couple clean sheets, played Man United recently, did well. The only obviously disadvantage a little bit means some, not too tough, but some tricky-ish fixtures there, but certainly worth thinking about bringing in as well, I would say. And how can you look further than Alisson, really? Liverpool's defence is so tight at the moment, and look at their next three games: Southampton away, Norwich, West Ham. Yeah, if you're picking a goalkeeper from scratch now, and obviously you can fit him in price-wise, then I think you've got to look at Alisson. He's still got another game obviously to come, so we'll get some more points hopefully from Game Week 24 for him. Okay, yep, so into defenders. I've got another few defenders here. How can you look beyond anyone Liverpool? So I'm including them in. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold, 7.6 mil. His price is pretty high, but still, if you think the amount of assists he gets, obviously chips in, it's like having another midfielder. So well worth having him in my opinion. Again, Liverpool's next three games, suiting for defenders, I feel. So a strong chance for clean sheets and bonus points there. Ricardo Pereira, he, I believe, scored. Yeah, he scored at the weekend. Scored against West Ham. Total points 106, so he's doing really well as well. And he's a big threat. Obviously, coming as a attacking left back, he's a big threat there. The only things for me, price quite high, of course, and the next three fixtures: Chelsea, Wolves away, Man City. May not be the best time to bring him in, but if you already have him in, I don't think I'd be taking him out. Okay. So another three defenders, possibly not quite as obvious, but I'm thinking Ben Mee, Burnley, a couple of clean sheets recently. I think with the fixtures coming up, I think there's a potential there. Burnley again go on little runs as well, don't they? So I think they had a shocking run, letting loads of goals in, but they seem to have tightened it up a little bit. I think Tottenham and Man United, they've got a couple of results to get in against. So now maybe the time to sneak one of them back in. A couple of seasons ago, I think we all had Ben Mee, Tarkowski. They were strong ones to have. So maybe now. Lucas Digne, I think, again, if you're having an Everton defender, it's got to be him. 5.8 mil is actually pretty good value, I think, still. He's on good form. I think the last 4 or 5 game weeks, he's got between 8, 11 points, something like that. So another strong pick to have. And since Ancelotti's come in as well, obviously, I think that heightens the time to get him in, I suppose. I would say with the next 3 games as well, Watford away, Crystal Palace at home, yeah, decent enough, so not the worst idea to get him in now. George Baldock as well, I'm going for him for Sheffield United. Sheffield United just strong, look amazing this season, defensively brilliant. So if you have any of the back 4 or Dean Henderson, of course, then I think it's a good shout. But I think he's the second highest scoring defender for Sheffield United, so well worth having in. And again, look at the 3 fixtures coming up. So and now is the good time. Okay, move on to midfielders. Jack Grealish, said it all about him already. Aston Villa's next 3 fixtures decent. He's carrying the team pretty much. If Aston Villa are getting points, it's normally coming through Grealish, so worth considering. Mohamed Salah, absolutely no-brainer this weekend. Mane's injured, of course, so if you need to have Salah in your team, find a way to get Salah in your team. The next 3 fixtures, obviously Liverpool, absolutely brilliant for him. I think, obviously, there's a strong potential. So I should have changed that. Southampton at home for Salah coming up next. So yeah, I think there is a no-brainer to get Salah in. I think he's still got a chance of getting more points against Liverpool for game week 24 as well. So hopefully, I have him as triple captain, so I'm hoping. And Adama Traore, been brilliant for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think he's had some consistency this season. No brainer again. Value or price wise for only 5.8 mil. So yeah, if you've got him in your team, you're definitely leaving him in. And obviously, if you haven't got him in your team, I think he's a good one to think about now. And yeah, so the total points there, 100 points. So he's doing really well as well. Okay, more midfielders. Perez got 15 points last week against West Ham. Quite late with the 2 goals. Certainly worth thinking about now. I wasn't sure. I had him in a couple of weeks with no return from him, and just had a little bit of a feeling, so kept him in 1 more week, got some points, kept him in last week, of course, and got more points. So he's one of them, maybe with a bit of consistency, the ball rolling now, maybe. The other one, Harvey Barnes, actually, in Leicester, is doing well as well at the moment. I haven't put him in, but worth thinking about. De Bruyne, no-brainer. If he's not in your team, you're playing a risk. I mean, I've had him in and out of the team this year. Obviously, it's a big risk if you're taking him out. I've got him back in for this week. So back in for game week 25. Man City's next 3 fixtures as well. Tricky-ish, but you can't really look too much sometimes into the fixtures. The good players are good players, the ones that return no matter what. And Dele Alli as well. Yeah, so I think on the show last week, I had Adnan on, mentioned Dele Alli. Obviously, he's had 3 or 4, since Mourinho's come in, I think he's had a bit of an upturn in form. I think he's definitely worth having as well now, and 8.5 mil is pretty decent. Again, though, the next 3 fixtures for Tottenham, a little bit of a worry. But who knows? I think not a bad shout if you're getting him in now. Okay, so on to forwards. Aubameyang, come back from suspension against Burnley. He's got a ridiculous record against Burnley. So certainly a good shout. I don't know if many people bring him into this weekend just for this game, but he's a striker that's going to score goals, obviously. I think it's certainly worth having in the team if you can fit him in, and who's going to criticise for having him in, basically. But the next one, Jimenez, I think is the no-brainer. I've got him in myself. I've had him in and out a couple times, but just for the price alone, he scores against pretty much anyone, or can score against anyone. Most of Wolves' points come through Traore or him. As we know, Traore assists him fairly regularly, so again a no-brainer. And even with those fixtures, it doesn't put me off. I think Man United leaking goals, and so yeah, like I said, I don't fear him against any defence particularly, so there's a good chance that he'll score. Callum Wilson scored first goal last week, maybe being a bit too keen to sort of mention him now, but I know from in the past he goes on runs, he goes on good runs, so I certainly think, obviously, for 7.4 mil, a striker that's going to score. And what I'm kind of hoping, if you're picking him, is to go on like a Danny Ings run, where he's getting 6-7 games in a row, and you want to get there at the beginning of it, get him in now before you miss out. So that's my thinking on that one, basically. Okay, and a few more forwards. Chris Wood scored against Man United, so big points, 12 points against Man United. I don't think he's been that consistent this season. Obviously, Burnley have had troubles, and they're not the most attacking, creative team. That's not having a dig at them, obviously, but just in terms of points for fantasy. So it's a bit of a risk, but for 6.2 mil, a striker that's obviously on form. If he gets on form, Burnley's next few fixtures, certainly worth a thought. Aguero, no-brainer, scoring every week at the moment. Obviously his price is quite high, so if you've got him, you're probably going to have a budget in there as well. But yeah, in my team, no-brainer for me, and he is next 3 fixtures. Who knows? I think he's got a good record against Tottenham. So yeah, I think if you're playing against Tottenham, I've got a good chance for the goal. And Firmino as well. I can't say anything bad about Firmino. He goes under the radar a lot. I think he's not always the highest number picked in people's teams. But obviously he scored the goal against Wolves, the winning goal against Wolves. He's still got another chance against West Ham as well. So who knows what's happened on that one? And then obviously the next 3 fixtures. Again, Southampton at home is the next one. There's every chance, as long as there's no rotation. I think there's every chance of him getting some points against Southampton as well. Okay, right. And some extra ones just to keep an eye on. I haven't put them as my main thought, but I still think there's a good chance for them this weekend as well. Timo Pukki, has been amazing this season, very consistent. I think against Newcastle away is not the worst shout. So maybe if you've got him in your team, certainly it wouldn't be one that you're rushing to get out. Callum Hudson-Odoi started picking up points. I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago as one to watch. If he gets a run of games, I think he'll get points, or I'm sure he will get points. He is a player that everyone was talking about quite a lot, I think, last season. So it's certainly one to think about. At 5.3 mil is a good shout in my opinion. And Laporte as well. So, but not necessarily specifically him, but Man City have obviously got him back into the team. I think that tightens them up. So if you're thinking about Man City in terms of defensive, maybe some points, bonus points for defence, clean sheet, he could be worth bringing in. I also mentioned Mendy last week, who's only 5.5 mil at the moment. He's playing most games. I think he missed the last one, but most games. So he might be a better shout for 5.5. Obviously, he's a bit more of a goal threat as well. But I actually think Laporte scored quite a few goals last season. So who knows? I think another good shout, or certainly worth keeping an eye on. Okay, right, let's take you on to the captain picks. So my selection of captain picks, of course, it's Liverpool dominant. They're playing Southampton at home. I think most people will have a captain amongst Liverpool, and I think probably it will be the first one, Salah, majority of people. I think there's every chance, obviously, a clean sheet as well, so it's a good shout if you're thinking of a defender to have as a captain, but I think the majority are going with Mohamed Salah for captain this week. I am as well, and how can you argue against? I think and with no Mane, if the goals are coming, it's every chance is coming through him, so we'll see, but that's the main captain choice for me. I don't think you'd be silly if you were considering any of them on this page, though. I think Aubameyang, like I mentioned, back against Burnley, a good record against them. Jimenez against Man United, I feel like he'll score. I'm pretty confident he'll score, but who knows? Jamie Vardy against Chelsea, I like Vardy. I would have kept him in my team as well, but I only got him out last week to help with the double game week, obviously. But every chance. Chelsea at home for Vardy this week, so there's a good chance of points there. De Bruyne, nothing necessarily special this week. Tottenham away, but he's De Bruyne, so worth having. And same applies for Aguero, I think. Same applies. Tottenham away, on paper quite a hard fixture, maybe against Mourinho at Mourinho's home, but at the same time, Sergio Aguero scores goals, so I think a worthy captain option. Okay, right, so let's move on to our team selection, and the first guest we have on the show this week is Tim, another FPL fan like myself. Obviously we've been chatting through the week. Here is his take on his team, so let's have a little listen and then we can go through at the end.
Right, this is my team, Adore Not Believe It. They're about, I think, 403,000 at the moment. Doing all right, I suppose, but yeah, I'm getting a bit impatient with everything at the moment. I triple captained Mane last week, so not delighted about that. But at the moment, I've got 2 transfers rolled over to the next game week. I'm thinking of just a little bit of a raised transfer and taking out Mane and putting in Salah. I'm just, I don't know. I want Salah anyway, for sure. It's annoyed me that I haven't been able to get him in my team until now. So yeah, here's just an easy way to do it. But it will depend on whether Mane is available. But yeah, it's not looking great, like I said. Other than that, team's looking okay. There's a few, the flag on Vardy has gone, which is good. And loads of people have transferred him out. So I'm thinking of keeping him as a bit of a differential. I'm not ecstatic about Maddison, but I think I'm going to keep him one more week because, not feeling Kelly at the moment. Even though Crystal Palace have got a good run of fixtures, He's just looking. I think they've got Ward, is it, back, and they're looking at signing Walker Peters. They're not doing particularly great anyway, so going to get rid of him and probably bring in Baldock for him, or however you pronounce his name. Salah and Baldock in, and Mane, Kelly out, and hold the wild card for the time being. Team's okay-ish, and see what happens. But I'm looking for a few gambles coming up. Obviously, the Baldock thing is a double up on Sheffield United, one more thing. I will captain Salah for this game. I'm looking at making a few sort of gambles here and there to try and get up into top 100k. Because not delighted with where I am. So that's where I'm at for this week, mate. Good luck with your game week, and I'll speak to you soon, bud. Bye-bye.
Amazing, obviously trying to get into the top 100k. I think we're obviously the same with captain pick this week. Salah as captain, I think that's a good shout. The team looks strong, and I like the idea of the double Sheffield United defence, to be honest. If you go back through their games, they don't let many goals in, so you've got every chance of getting the clean sheet bonus double there. I never feel brave enough to put the two defenders in myself often, so nice one. I think, like you said, Vardy, a good shout. A lot of people have got him out, so it's worth potentially keeping him in for this one. I think as well, Maddison as well. Maddison had a little bit of a poor run, so I think we were talking about in the last show getting him out. So could be another one that you hang on to just the right amount of time if he turns up obviously against Chelsea. So we'll see though. Obviously everything on there looks strong to me. I think good transfers. So thanks a lot, Tim. Thanks for your analysis, and hopefully have you back on the show soon. And I will move on next on to Tommy. So Tommy's team, he's going to go through Game Week 25 team with us now. Looks like wildcard has been played, so that's why I've included the Game Week 24 team as well there, because obviously there's a lot of changes. But anyway, enough from me. I'll pass you over to him now.
Hi, Jack. How's it going? Right, I'll just jump straight to it. My Game Week 24 has not been going very well. Obviously, we're still in Game Week 24, waiting for Liverpool to play their final game, or their second game against West Ham in 2 days. But I'm currently on 30 points, not doing very well. And I captained Mane, so I don't even think he's going to play. So I don't think my points tally is really going to increase this week. Fortunately, I didn't triple captain him, though, which I was very close to doing. So this is what I've gone for. So in goal, I've gone for Henderson of Sheffield United. Obviously, he's the leading points goalkeeper at the moment, and the fixtures that he's got coming up are absolutely belters. So I'm more than happy to have him in my side with Lord Lundstrom, because I've had him from the start and he's just great value. I'm never going to get rid of him. In light of what I've just said about the double Liverpool defence double up, I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold still, and I've brought Virgil van Dijk in. I think the value that he brings over Robbo is, it's comparable, but I think his goal threat is why I'm going to keep him in the team, and obviously he's that little bit cheaper as well. Then I've gone for a Newcastle defender, actually. I've put Lascelles in, Jamal Lascelles. So he is the club captain, so I'm hoping he's going to play every game. He's obviously been injured since game week 13, so a few weeks on the sidelines. But again, with the fixtures they've got coming up, there's a lot of greens there. So I'm hoping a few clean sheets will come his way, particularly against Norwich this weekend. Midfield, I've kept Grealish, probably for certainly the next week against Bournemouth, but maybe against Spurs and Southampton as well. Might keep him a couple weeks longer. Salah, he's going to be my captain this week. I think at home to Southampton, that's got Mo Salah written all over it. De Bruyne, again, I've had him from the start. He's just great value. I'm not going to get rid of him. And from about, towards the end of the season, now I've played this wild card, I've got to think long term as well. He's got some great fixtures coming up towards the end of the season, so got to keep him in. Traore, I've been toying with Traore a lot, actually, because whenever I seem to play him, he doesn't get points, and then when I put him on my bench, that's when he gets his double figure haul. So he's been annoying me. I've been wanting to get rid of him, but actually I'm going to keep him because I think he is a man in form, and I've just not been timing it right when I've been playing him. And again, if we look at Wolves' fixtures from game week 27 to 32, there's a lot of greens there. So the last man in the midfield is Perez of Leicester. Again, he's one of these players that ghosts me a little bit. I've had him before and he didn't get any points, and then when you get rid of him, he gets the big point weeks. So I'm going to get him in now because I think he's quite cheap. He may not play so much for me in the next 3 game weeks. I've got some tough fixtures, but after that, there's some easy ones for Leicester. So I'll look to stick with him for a few weeks and maybe change him for Richarlison if he's not performing, because I've got a bit of money left in the bank. Up top this week, just the two up front, I've got Jimenez and Vardy. So part of the decision as well to play my wild card is when I saw that Vardy was injured as well. I've got to say I'm glad that he's not, because I do like Jamie Vardy. I think he is banging in the goals, and even though they've got a couple of hard fixtures, I think that's when Vardy turns up the most. I think he likes to get a goal against the big guns, and then he's got those easy ones. So glad he's still fit. He has gone down in price a little bit, but I'm going to hold on to him. And then Jimenez, I think he's one of these players that he's just always consistent. He does have the odd drought for a couple of game weeks, but really, again, for the value that you get with Raul Jimenez, I think he's just a great one to have in. And I say those fixtures that Wolves have got coming up, hopefully he'll grab me a lot of points. So then the bench as well. Let's say I've kept Lord Lundstrom and I've kept Danny Ings because, again, he's a man in form. And whilst he hasn't scored in the last couple, the fixtures he's got for the next 6 or 7 weeks are brilliant. If he's not firing, though, again, I've got the bit of money left in the bank that I can either swap to Tammy Abraham once they're past their 4 horror fixtures, or Calvert-Lewin, because he's actually been quite good, and it was a tough decision to take him out the side, but I just thought Jimenez is the better man to go for there. But yeah, quite optimistic for this weekend. Things could change, as I say, midweek with any injuries, but that is how my team is looking at the moment. Quite excited for it. Let me know what you think, and we'll see how we get on.
Doing really well there. Obviously a shame for game week 24, only 30 so far. But like we've seen, everyone suffered with Mane, haven't they? So I don't think that you're the only. Obviously, you're not the only one. 270 odd thousand triple captained him, so at least you didn't do that. But yeah, obviously, team looks great to me. I think definitely love the analysis there. So Southampton, obviously Liverpool playing Southampton at home, makes sense to have 2 Liverpool defenders. Good shout. Obviously, you played the wild card, so you can make changes. There's going to be some more transfers coming in, obviously for teams this week. I think certainly injuries to get through. Obviously, like you said as well, there's some more games still to get through, so it's one of them where you don't want to act too quick. But good idea for Vardy, I think. I think definitely good idea for Vardy, and exactly the same for me with Perez as well. I hung on to him almost by accident too long, and then he starts turning it on. So hopefully, obviously, he gets some more points for us this week. But yeah, obviously, the team looks really strong. Lots of similarities to myself as well. Like we mentioned, Grealish, I think, is a no-brainer. Is getting points there too. Lascelles as well. Norwich at home coming up, I think, is perfect. And Henderson in goal, obviously, absolutely perfect choice as well, really. I think I've got Schmeichel, which I'll look in a moment, but you're either Henderson or Alisson, I think, this weekend, or Pope, but I think Henderson or Alisson are your main 2. But yeah, really good analysis. Thanks for that, Tommy. Hopefully I'll have you back on soon, and we'll go forward onto my team for this week. So obviously I've mentioned my team a few times throughout. I had a little bit of a weird one for game week 24, the double one, obviously. I've taken Mane out now after, obviously, injured. Bring De Bruyne back in. I only brought him out for 1 game. I know that's not the best way to do it a lot of the time, but I was just in the moment. I think sometimes double game week makes you do a bit crazy things, just act on the spot. Jimenez as well, I didn't have him in for the last few weeks, but had him in before. So De Bruyne and Jimenez, I'm fairly confident with. I think both are consistent enough to justify being in. Salah is my captain choice as well, as with Tommy and Tim. Same captain choice. I think it's a no-brainer this week. I think most people will pick Salah. Let me know if you've got other ideas, but I think most people will go with that. I'm keeping Greenwood in against Wolves at home. I am not optimistic particularly. I'm optimistic that he will start this week. I was as well last week and he didn't. So, but I'm optimistic he'll start this time. I think Man United need to score. They need goals. They need to win. They're on such poor form at the moment. But obviously my main thing from the Man United Wolves game will be Jimenez and Traore. All they've got to do is repeat what they're doing, and I think they'll get something against Man United at the moment. Again, yeah, Perez, I think I'm leaving him in at the moment. He's one of them where I'm nervous to have him. He's one of them where I feel like every bad game week he has, I want to get him out. But that's nothing on him. I just think, obviously, I've never had much return from him myself personally. But yeah, and then the defence, I'm going for 1 Sheffield United player. I'm still keeping in Kelly as well. I'm not 100% on that, but I think one of those 2, if not both, will get a clean sheet. And I think, obviously, Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool are going to get a clean sheet as well, or very, very good chance of getting a clean sheet. So that's my thinking there. And obviously with the bench, bench as well. I've got Sergio Aurier, Mariappa, and Guendouzi. Not expecting too much. There's the odd chance of an Aurier assist maybe against Man City, but you never know. I think my 3 defenders I'm happy with having in. And McCarthy has been really good recently as well, obviously. But I just think Liverpool away, the best I'll be hoping for is 3 penalty saves and maybe 50 saves or something, and getting a ton of bonus points. But how many goals they're going to let in, I don't know. Football never goes the way you think, I know, but you never. You'd be mad, I think, to put McCarthy in goal with Liverpool away this weekend. Anyway, okay, yeah, and Tammy Abraham was the other player I got out, obviously, for Jimenez. May not have got him out, but obviously injured at the moment, so that's the thinking. Okay, right, cool. Cool, that takes us to the end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like what you saw. Got some ideas for players this week. Got some ideas for captains. If you've got other ideas or how your team's looking, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to be on the show as well, a preview show, either comment below or send me a message. Let me know. We'll get you on. Thanks again to Tommy and Tim for coming on. We'll keep tracks on your teams as well and see how you both get on like myself. And that's it for the show. So take care, everyone. See you soon.